And we are live. What's up, everybody? Monday, September 9th. We're here to talk baseball. I know we're coming out of week one of the NFL. I know everybody only cares about the NFL, but I care about baseball. And that's why we're here today. Now, if we're being honest, DraftKings ruined the slate. They had the opportunity to give us an 8-game slate. 3 games at 640, the rest of the slate locking until 740, and then you're just locked and done. And then you can go do whatever you want to do for football for tonight after 8 o'clock. No. They went the other way. 3-game 640 slate. They include all the instead of dropping the 10 o'clock game and having no reason to be paying attention to baseball 2.5 hours after the last game during the middle of an NFL game. No, they included it, made it absolutely awful. So the baseball slate sucks for what it should have been, but we're going to break it down nonetheless. Yeah, exactly. I'm Josh Engleman, by the way. Don't know if I said that at the beginning. Follow me at Josh Engleman. If you're on Twitter and you're watching this on Twitter, then you can see very quickly how you should follow me. But if not, hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. And then we get back to that following me on Twitter. No, Jacob, the 6 o'clock games aren't included. Jake, of course the MLB prize pools were terrible yesterday. You can't play MLB on the first NFL Sunday. They're not going to care. That was always going to happen. Today, on the other hand, we still get 25K up top, which not the worst. It's just there was no reason to make this schedule be the way. We had a perfect 8-game schedule with all games locking in an hour, and they said, no, thank you. We want to make it worse. So that's where we're at. But we got a lot to talk about. I'm running my sims right now, just out of curiosity. It's probably close to done. Yeah, we're getting there. Let's talk about what we see so far. And immediately, one thing jumps out. For this main slate, there are 3 standout offenses. The Dodgers, to me, are number 1. At home, Kyle Hendricks on the hill. This is the number 1 ranked team in my top stack odds at 18%. None of this should be surprising. Whether it's the fact that they're facing Kyle Hendricks, whether it's the fact that there's like a 125 implied total, or 125 implied, 125 park factor. God, I can't talk today. I gotta get more coffee in my body. Everything is just on the side of the Dodgers. They're the best offense on the slate. Maybe you want to say it's the Yankees. That could go either way, but very different matchup. Everything is coming up Dodgers. And, while Ohtani and Betts are expensive, they're not the most crazy expensive team. The real benefit here, and we won't dig into this until we move on a little bit further, the most expensive pitcher on today's slate is Carlos Rodon at 8,800. So it's not like you have to choose between the Dodgers and a 10K guy. Pitching makes this a lot more manageable. So I can very easily see the path to wanting to load up on the Dodgers. The Guardians have Nick Nastrini on the hill against them. They look amazing today. Now, this is neutral park factor, neutral home run park, but 5.7 run implied total for Cleveland. Is it hot as shit in Cleveland today? Or sorry, in Chicago today? 77, not bad. I think that's just it's letting us know what happens with Nick Nastrini. And Nick Nastrini is not very good. Projects with a 543 FIP. So the idea of getting to this Guardians lineup, the reason they're so appealing is because they're basically free. This is the number 1 value team for me. Number 2 in top stack. The only guy north of 4,400 is Jose Ramirez at 6,200, and you'd never care that you roster Jose Ramirez. So I look at that piece, and I think Is Cleveland going to be the easy team to get to today? Because I think they are. I think this is clearly the best overall team to roster. The only thing that makes me curious is one, you can't roster Naylor and Manzardo at the same time, first base only across the board, but it does offer you a little bit of flexibility. No MPEs in the Cleveland lineup, not the most helpful situation in the world, but these guys are absolutely free. And then finally, the Orioles, I have at 13% top stack. Now, these guys are not cost effective. 11th in value, which is only out of 12 teams. But they go shortstop, catcher, first, outfield, 1 through 4. So that's pretty manageable. It's the middle of the order. The Santander, Cowser, Jimenez, Mullins, outfield, 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 outfield. That gets a little blurry. No MPEs. Also not my favorite thing in the world. I'm guessing the Orioles end up looking like a pay up to be contrarian spot against Brian Bayo. Because the way that I'm seeing it, based on how easy it is to get to Cleveland, I would be very surprised if the Orioles show up more than that. Maybe you get a little bit of love because Bayo is pulling 10% ownership. But I think the Orioles are going to be the sneak team today, the one that doesn't naturally come up in data. And I think the Guardians are going to be the team that just naturally everybody gets to. How we manage that will be a little bit different. And then we have the one weird spot for today. Because I have the Royals as like an average-ish team. 8th in top stack, 6th in top value. But Carlos Rodon is pulling 38% ownership. And it's not that I think that that's crazy. I do think he's the best option on today's slate. You can make a case for David Festa, but you're getting there in a very different way. When I look here at Rodon, I think I like the Royals side of it more because of the Rodon ownership. Rodon has major problems against righty power. We're going to take a look at that quickly. If we look at this right now, I mean, this stands out. Carlos Rodon this year, 208 x ISO to righties. That's across 2,200 pitches. This isn't some fake sample. 208. And right now, the Royals are projecting, by the way, it's 208 even if you add in last year. That's another 1,000 pitches. The Royals are projecting to run out 9 righties. Now, I already bet Freddie Fermin to homer today because I really like the line. But Witt, Perez, DeYoung, Renfroe, there's a lot of righty power in this lineup. I think there's a lot of upside for the Royals to hit like 3 home runs off of Rodon and maybe get another one late. Park plays it up perfectly. But with the leverage you get against Rodon's ownership, I think the Kansas City Royals are the team that no one's going to talk about, that everybody should be talking about. All right, first sim is done. Let me run out round 2. And then we'll be able to look at some of my exposures. Chat, whoever's here right now watching this show, what do you guys have your eye on for today? Is there any teams that you're taking a peek at that you want me to look at? Outside of the Orioles, the Guardians, and the Dodgers, because I think those 3 are the teams that everybody's going to pay attention to. But man, oh man, do I like this Royals team today. I expect to have a lot of them. Whether or not that happens will be a different question, but I hope that I have them. One thing we should touch on today before we move forward is our schedule for the rest of the day. So you get me right now. You're used to it. Coming up immediately after this, 10 a.m. Eastern time, NFL Showdown Strategy. You've got Monday Night Football tonight. You get Laffy and Matt Gajeski breaking down tonight's game. Greg and Eric will be back for MLB Live Before Lock tonight at 6. So they'll take you all the way up until 7. And then at 7:15, Laffy and Gajeski are running it back. Live Before Lock NFL Showdown edition. If you guys are playing football, you get 2 full hours. Plus, certainly some VODs and sports betting picks. Oh, by the way, noon Eastern time, Odd Shopper YouTube channel. Odd Shopper Live with this guy right here. That'd be me. I will be hitting all of the potential bonuses that exist at sportsbooks and pick'em sites for tonight's Monday Night Football game because we don't want to leave that money on the table. Plus, we'll use Odd Shopper to build out some cards, find some value on the sports betting side and on the pick'em side that we could use for tonight. And that'll be everything, not just baseball, football as well. WNBA sneaks in there from time to time. I have no idea if they play today or not. I don't know this season. But if they do, we'll probably have a little bit of WNBA value. We finally cashed out a bunch of the cards that we built over the week, but you guys should be there. Hunter Renfroe reverse splits guy. Don't know. Sounds familiar. Renfroe against lefties over the past 2 years. 141 x ISO? Yeah, probably. Sox against Povich is not crazy. I bet the under on Povich for his strikeouts. I think they're just going to end up properly owned because they're a little bit worse top stack. They get a little bit of it back in value. I mean, I certainly don't mind it. The problem, though, Cade Povich being a lefty, you're going to lean righty, and that's just worse for power in Boston. And then Cubs against Buehler. I also bet the under on Buehler. Cubs probably look like a slightly better version of the Red Sox to me, although outfield first, outfield 1 through 4 is a little limiting. I did bet Ian Happ to homer, if anybody cares there. I think this mid-tier is problematic. Yankees, Royals to like the public, but not to me. Blue Jays, Mets, Red Sox, and Cubs. They all look like the exact same team today. So I think that's a little tricky. I think you have this clear top 3 of Orioles, Guardians, and Dodgers. You have a clear bottom 3 of White Sox, Twins, and Angels. And then I think the Royals look different in that pack, but Yankees, Blue Jays, Mets, Red Sox, Cubs, I can kind of pick whoever I want out of that range. Coffee time. Oh, that's a good sip. Let's keep spinning this. Wasn't stirred up as much as I thought it was. All right, my sim is almost done. Like, I don't expect to get to the Angels, even with Festa grabbing 38% ownership, just because I have the Angels 3% top stack, whereas I have the Royals 7%. So I'm just anticipating getting to the Royals before I get to the Angels. It's also possible that because I have Festa projected better than I have Carlos Rodon projected. What does Stochastic have it at, actually? Oh, Stochastic has Festa by a point as well. It makes me think that I'm going to have like 75% Festa, maybe like 25% Rodon, and then a stand on the Royals. I expect to have Rodon and Kansas City. My sim is 45 seconds from being done. Einsteinium, good to see you. Glad you're here. Alrighty. Oh, we got big UFC this Saturday. That'll be fun. But I'm just waiting for this sim to finish up. We're 45,000 runs through, so a little bit more time. All right, let's look at top hitters for today, actually. Who is my overall number 1 hitter relative to salary? That would be Shohei Ohtani, not close. Jose Ramirez second. Stephen Kwan third, 4,400. Gunnar Henderson fourth. Josh Naylor fifth. If we're ignoring salary, obviously still Ohtani. Gunnar jumps up to that 2 spot. Then you get you get Jose Ramirez, Bobby Witt, and then Freddie Freeman. Those are the top plays that I have for today. Number 1 leverage play, Stephen Kwan. Worst leverage play, Andre Jimenez, the guy I get a lot of. All right. Sim is just about done. Yeah, Jeff, I'm with you on Cubs against Bueller. I just don't think they stand out. But like I said, I bet Ian Happ. There's a lot of upside there because Bueller stinks. All right, Sim is done. So let's open up my lineups and let's find out what I have to start the day. That's what we want to know. If I have 50 lineups right now, yeah, I see a lot of David Festa. I see a decent amount of Carlos Rodon. Let's find out. All right. So that worked out pretty much like I thought it would. Full unloading on the Guardians. I hoped that it would be a little lighter than that. And it's me getting to Jimenez like crazy. No surprise. But I'm more than 2xing the 13% owned Cleveland Guardians. The other piece that I think is interesting is that I did 2x the Royals, loaded up at the top. I do have 58% Rodon, though. So basically, I either have Carlos Rodon or it's a Royal stack. There's not a lot of middle ground there. And that's exactly what I wanted. The other team that I got to, though, one is the Cubs, 11%. So good shout out, good eye there. Happy to take that stand. And then I also got the Twins against Reed Detmers today. I can't lie. That one I don't love. Detmers has reverse splits. He gives up a lot more power to lefties than righties. Angels are probably going to go the other direction, unfortunately. So I hope that goes away. You can see it's a Dodgers fade. I'm not surprised by that at all. A little bit cost ineffective. And then Orioles are the big fade. So I'm running away from Orioles chalk. I'm running away from Dodgers chalk. I'm running all of that to Guardians chalk. Where do you guys land on that? You guys with me? Do you like the Guardians? 4 teams, 70% total. Royals, Guardians, Twins, Cubs. I'll take that. Literally no Yankees. Not a single Yankee share today. That's never fun. And then let's look at my pitching exposures. Not a big surprise here. 70% David Festa. Now, I saw that one coming the whole way. 58% Rodon. I think it's just a testament of this. We have both of these guys projected right around 18 fantasy points. 14 and a half, 13 and a half, 12 and a half, 13, 10, 11, 12, 11. Like, these guys are 6 points ahead of everybody else, basically. 5 if you include Bassett. I'm not surprised that I'm just cornering the market on Carlos Rodon and David Festa. 22% Detmers, that's basically neutral. 20% Bassett, basically neutral. 10% Singer, basically neutral. 14% Cantillo, basically neutral. And that Cantillo line, he really only looks good because they're expected to win. But no Nastrini, no Hendricks, no Povich, no Blackburn, no Bayo. I'm happy with everything I see here. I don't want to hide this selection, Excel. I just want to make the screen be smaller. Guess not. So yeah, that's where we're at right now, taking a look at each team that you can stack today. And that's where I'm at pitching wise. I think it'd be more interesting. Josh is jamming the expensive pitchers every single day, brother. Every single day. Pitching is more predictable than hitting. I would rather take stands on pitching. I say we just build lineups. No interest in Bayo. No interest in Bayo. I have the Orioles as the number 3 stack. That spot looks really bad for Bayo. And he's a guy I usually can get to. Alrighty. It is single lineup simulator time. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited about it. So let's build out a lineup. Large contest, 20% to first. We'll bump that up to 25. Is it 25 today? Relay throw is, yep, it's 25. So the first thing that I want to do, I don't want to build the Guardians. I want to build the Royals because I think that we could take out Rodon, which means that we're going to take Festa as the first pitcher, and then we'll figure out the second one next. But we're going to go Kansas City. And as I look at it, we're obviously going to take Bobby Witt. That's really not much of a conversation starter. We're clearly taking Salvador Perez. And we're clearly taking Paul DeJong. You know what? I'm going to move Perez to first. We're going to take Fermin at catcher. Perez at first. That's 4. Feels like we should take Tommy Pham, assuming he's in the leadoff spot. So that gives us an outfielder. So now we need to think about the pitcher we want in this spot. Most cost-effective would be Cantillo. We can't go to Rodon. I think it's Detmers. So I'm going to get Detmers in. Now we need second base, outfield, outfield. All right, so I'm going to look at who do I have as my best second baseman? Unequivocally Jimenez. Now, does the site think the same? All right, we have third in value, highest projected guy, but also 30% owned. Now, I think that we could handle, if we look at this Kansas City ownership, ooh, maybe I don't want to go Detmers. I'm going to pull Detmers because I don't want to go both pitchers in that game, since I don't have to. Which means I'm going to go to Cantillo. And since I'm going to do that, I'm going to go to Jimenez. And we're going to try to make this a Kansas City-Cleveland stack. We have 4,800 for both guys. So that could easily be, if I take Quan, we're going to go 5-2-1. Because I can take Quan, and then I can take Tyler O'Neill. That spends all of the salary. Let's see how that works. We have some very easy adjustments. All right, 26%. I'm not shocked, but I am going to pull that Cleveland stack. And I'm going to try to game stack with the Yanks. So I'm going to get Gleyber Torres. Can I get, if I get Judge, then we're dead. If I get Soto, we're dead in this game. If I take Stanton, then I can take Verdugo. But that seems wasteful. So if I take Stanton, Torres, and then a one-off Ian Happ, I don't think we're going to have enough correlation here. All right, that fell apart in a big way. Let's pull Stanton. Let's pull Happ. Let's pull Torres. Can we go with Minnesota? That would be Brooks Lee. Actually, it'd be Kyle Farmer. Great value. This is going to be next level unappealing. Oh, we get Ohtani? We can. We can go two-man Minnesota and get Ohtani. I don't think this is going to be the answer to the question, but it is making me either not like Cantillo or be a little dubious about. All right, we're back up to 20. We got this. Pull Ohtani, pull Castro. We pull Farmer, and then I'm pulling Cantillo. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to go to Detmers. I really don't want to go to Bueller. So let's try out Chris Bassett. Now, best second baseman play is Jimenez, but he's pulling all of the ownership. So I think we could do better than that. It really is Gleyber Torres. But that really just blocks us off to everything else that's interesting. Maybe Torres is the one-off? Can I get a pair of outfielders for 7,300 somewhere? Who's the best outfielder with a real projection? Will Brennan, Quan, Einsteinium. Put a pin in that, and I'll check it out after this one. Okay, can we go Dalton Varsho, Addison Barger? That's two Toronto guys coming with Bassett. Just out of curiosity, can I get a Toronto guy at second instead of Torres? It would be Will Wagner. We're giving up too much there. Not confident in this one either. Yeah, I didn't like that one from the jump. All right, so you said Nico, PCA, and Happ. Was that with Bassett? So we're going to go Nico Herner, Pete Crow Armstrong. Had to be with Cantillo, I guess. Happ. Yeah, and then we go to Cantillo. Let's see how we look here, Einsteinium. After this, we're going to pull the plug on this Kansas City stack. And we could try to... chat, start hitting me with who you want to build out. Ooh, yeah, this is a tough one. Kansas City not looking great out of the gate. So let's try this one with the big pitchers. So we're going to go Rodon and Festa. You know what I think we should do here? What can we build with Rodon, Festa, and the Chalk Cleveland team to save it? How much, like, who can we discount after that? Einsteinium, no. So if we think about the Guardians, remember, this is the chalk hitters and the two chalk pitchers. What can we build in our other three spots to see if we can exact some value? So right away, Josh Naylor's going in the lineup. Jimenez is going in the lineup. Jose Ramirez is going in the lineup. I'm going to go Bo Naylor and Quan. And this is why these guys are so easy to roster and why they're all 20% owned. because they're all free, basically. So now we need shortstop, outfield. And we have enough salary that like this isn't crazy. So Tommy Edman at short has the 4th highest projection of anybody left and fantastic value. Trevor Story is not too far off of Edman, but 5% less ownership at 3,600. So it's going to be Trevor Story. Can we get anything else from Boston? And we can. But it's going to have to be Ref Snyder and then somebody for 3,300. In this case, Will Brennan stands out. But that doesn't help us. We don't have another Boston guy available. So we're going to try Darian Blanc. No, we're going to go Corey Julks. Same game, leadoff spot. This is going to pop because that last one that we ran, I think, had a projection of 91. Now we're at 106. So now we start to play the ownership game. Okay, 17. Interesting. This is tight. This is really tight. So I think I want to get Will Brennan in there. And I might do that in lieu of Bo Naylor. Because if I get Will Brennan in there, now it's catcher, short, outfield. And I think that we can find something really good here. Number 1 catcher is Adley, but he's 5,700. This seems like a spot where we can now loop in Kansas City, but we have Rodon. I do like the idea of going Austin Wells. If we go to Stanton, and we can't roster anybody. So who's the best value catcher that doesn't have a shit predict? It is Bo Naylor. Okay, so not having Bo Naylor is actually the problem here. But Corey Lee's not crazy. That'll shave some ownership. I mean, Jacob Amaya will save some ownership too, but he sucks. This is really hard. This is harder to build out than I was expecting it to be. Oh, I think I might be on it now. I think I might be on it. Is there a close to $3,600 Minnesota outfielder? Austin Martin. This is probably not going to be any good, but 106 projection. Martin's 5% owned. Farmer's 13, and it's the Farmer piece that's going to hurt us here. This is going to be too owned, I think. Yeah, there's a little too much ownership here. Maybe we can go to a Cleveland 4-man? I think getting different with Jimenez is the way we want to go here. I think he's too owned. Four two two. Yeah, Obi, we're on the same page here. I think we're thinking about this in the same way. Nope, that don't work. Nope, that's not going to work. I don't expect this to be any good, but I'm clicking run anyway. I shaved a lot of ownership into this 4-3-1. All right, chat. I want you to do it now. Pick the next team that we're building. The czar of the single lineup generator is not having a good time of it. All right, pick the lineup that we're building. And I'm going to build out the nuts. but I want you guys to choose the team. 5-man. It's got to be a 5-man stack. We'll build it otherwise. Give me who you guys want. Just first team that you guys say. After everybody says everything, then, whoever's got the most votes will do it. All right, first vote in is for Toronto. Dodgers. Cubs. Somebody's got to break this tie. Royals or Cubbies? Let's do Cubs. We'll handle pitching after we do the Cubs. All right. There are some pieces that to me are non-negotiable here. Ian Happ is one of them. I want Cody Bellinger. Paredes has to be one of them. I think Michael Busch has to be one of them. And then probably Dansby Swanson. Yeah. All right. So we have our 5 hitters. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. I love that. We've got a lot of salary left. Now, and our stack isn't that owned. We obviously need one of Rodon or Festa. By all accounts, I think Festa is the guy that we should go to here. Same ownership, better projection, cheaper salary. So if we take Festa, I'm going to leave that second spot open. Catcher, second, outfield. So first thing I want to do is figure out who I think is the best catcher available. Because that might dictate who we want as our 3-man and our second pitcher. Number 1 catcher I have is Ryan Jeffers. Rutschman is second. Salvador Perez is third. All 3 of those guys clearly stand out ahead of everybody else. Perez has the least amount of ownership. They're all basically 10% owned, though. Stochastic has Jeffers by a full point over Rutschman at a cheaper salary. This has to be Jeffers. It just has to. Which means we're going to look a little bit more at Minnesota. Second base Minnesota, Kyle Farmer. I think just has to happen. And then outfield is probably going to have to be Austin Martin. Michael Hellman is flat 2K. What does that unlock? All right. Hellman gives us way too much salary. Castro just has such a better projection. Leaves us 8,500, which allows us to get Chris Bassett. I mean, we took a giant ownership cut. We might need to try to find a little bit more in projection, which might have to be Kyle Farmer going away. Yeah, we're at 20%. So, Einsteinium, I like that shout. I'm going to turn Kyle Farmer. I'm going to pull Bassett as well. Because I think we could eat that ownership from Jimenez. If we pull Farmer and go to Jimenez, it does let us get to Cantillo. That's a lot more fantasy points in this projection. I think this is probably going to be like in the mid to high 30s. 22. Okay. Naylor, Jimenez, Kwan. All right, I'll look at it. So that's Naylor, Kwan, Jimenez, and then it's Brian Bayo pitcher. What, 20s again, I think? Yeah. We need... I can see what we need to do, but it's not easy. Like at catcher, it's Jeffers for sure. At second, is it Jimenez? What can I do at outfield then to really save salary? What if I do those two guys and Cantillo? Jeffers, Jimenez, Kwan, Cantillo. Because I think by going so low on the ownership for the Cubs stack, you could really eat a lot of ownership everywhere else. And I think that was the problem before. All right, we're climbing. I don't love leaving $400 or $500 on the table, though. Can I upgrade Dansby Swanson? If we take out Swanson, what's the next best Cub? Because Swanson is like the 2, 4, 6, 8. He's the 2, 4, 6, 8. He's the 9th best value. So if we can get something a little bit better, yeah, I'm going to pull Cody Bellinger. I'm going to take Pete Crow Armstrong. And while I'm not going to like this, I'm going to take Miguel Amaya because I think this is going to give us a lot more salary, but still give us the same outlook of the Cubs. Now, I think that we can now get Jimenez. And Kwan. And now I could take... Out of curiosity, if it's Cantillo in, it leaves us 7,700 at short. We could take a big swing as a one-off shortstop. Whether that's Gunnar. I think Tommy Edman makes a lot of sense here. But I'm going to go Lindor. And if I go Lindor, I can take Brady Singer and spend all of the salary. Now, we've cut the ownership down to 143. We're at projection 96. I think we're good. This is going to be an improvement. Oh, man, we're still at 13. All right. We're going to unlock a 40. It's coming. All right. If I take Witt, who's the pitcher? It's Cantillo then. Can I do better than Kwan? Does Kwan have the highest projection from the outfield? He does. That sucks. It's really hard to get away from Jimenez. Actually, with all this salary left, Gleyber Torres, Anthony Volpe, Juan Soto, and Cantillo. 3-man Yankees. It doesn't have to be Soto. It can be Judge. That still leaves us $1,000. Ownership down to 117. We gave up like 3 points of because we have $1,000 left, which is something we could look at. We gave up like 3 fantasy points, but we cut our ownership by like 40%. I don't think money's the problem anymore. Yeah, we got to figure out how to spend this money. And it's probably Miguel Amaya. Can I get Austin Wells? Shit. If I take Austin Wells, that leaves me 6,100 for an outfielder. I thought we could get Soto. Because if we take Stanton, we're giving up too much projection. Who is the Cubs bat that has to be there? It might be Seiya Suzuki. Yeah, I'm going to take Suzuki over Pete Crow Armstrong. Because I think that's a more apt play. Do I want Michael Busch? No. All right. Busch is projected 695 at 3,800. We can get an extra couple tenths of a point if we go to Nico Herner. I got to get Miguel Amaya out of there. I don't love Swanson. We do have the two best Cubs bats in outfield. All right, so chat. The choices are Dansby Swanson at short or Nico Herner at second. Which do you prefer? Swanson or Herner? I think it's Nico Herner. Then it's catcher, short, outfield. Can we go Jeffers, Castro? Ah, man, that's just brutal. Jeffers, Castro, Kwan. Yeah, this is just going to be around 20 again. Can I find a better third base bat than Isaac Paredes? Maybe. I just don't have a like we could swap Paredes. Ooh, we're dancing now, folks. 45%. 45%. We're starting to unlock the path we need to take. Yeah, we could try to swap Paredes out, but Paredes then has to become Dansby Swanson. And if we make that Dansby Swanson, catcher, I guess in theory could be Adley. Can we sneak out Baltimore, or is this going to be too big of a haircut? Baltimore also doesn't have a third baseman that's relevant enough. Will Smith, Max Muncy, Tommy Edman? 5-3 Cubs Dodgers game stack? Festa Cantillo? Nope, that ain't it. So we're giving up what we really need to do. What I'm understanding here, I don't know if you guys saw the three names that were in there for the Dodgers, but they were relatively low owned. I think what this is telling us is that because of this 5% on Busch, 6% on Herner, 7 on Swanson, 9 on Suzuki and Happ, I think we could eat a lot of ownership. I like that shout, Einsteinium. So if we go Jose Ramirez, Bo Naylor, and Kwan, 99 projection. We're up to 170 in ownership. So we ate a lot more. It's possible we want to turn one of those Cleveland dudes maybe into like a Minnesota guy. It's a shame Jeffers and Naylor are both there. Yeah, 35. If I pull Naylor, that doesn't matter. We got about one or two more minutes before we're going to get out of here. Jose Ramirez makes a lot of sense to me. If I go Jeffers, then it's Austin Martin. So that is not what we want to do. I think it's Bo Naylor, Jose Ramirez, and then who's the best outfielder I can get? Highest projection that we can grab is Kwan, 2 owned. Lane Thomas cuts the ownership. Does Lane Thomas make that better? Jeff, I'll run that in 1 second, and that'll be the last thing we do. We did get one of them into the 40%, so I'll take that. Yeah, 7. So it's not Lane Thomas. Kwan is the dude. If I go Tommy Edman, can I upgrade Cantillo? I can't. Why can't I take... Oh, because he's first, not outfield. Thought it was on outfielders. Edman, Brennan... Ref Snyder. Does Ref Snyder unlock anything else? Nope, still Cantillo. Can I go low and get Cantillo out of there? We're looking for something north of 7, which is Brennan, Edman, Ref Snyder, Moniak. Which doesn't work. That last outfield spot stinks, guys. Because I want to get out of Joey Cantillo. I'd really like to get away from Cantillo. If I get to Detmers, it leaves me $3K for an outfielder. This will be okay. All right, final spot we're going to do. Jeff Williams dropped the lineup. Let me put that up on the screen so you guys can see it. The moment this one finishes, we're going to load that in, and then that's going to be the last thing we do. All right, 15%. So, Jeff says Festa, Rodon, Naylor, Bush, Jimenez, Paredes, Tommy Edman, Bellinger, Armstrong, Suzuki. 99.75 projection, 174 ownership. This will probably be in like the 25 to 30 range if I had to guess. Might be a little high on ownership. Yeah, 20. Does Jimenez into Torres save it at all? That's where we're going to be, folks. Reminder, NFL Showdown Strategy Show is coming up next. Laffy and Gajeski are breaking down Monday Night Football right now. It's 9:55. They start at 10. You don't want to miss it. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Baseball's going nowhere. I'm here every single morning, and I'm putting in some bets in about 2 hours. So come join me. Thanks for being here, guys. I love using this single lineup tool. I hope you guys loved it as well. We'll see you guys in the morning.